Hey guys, Boone down south here. So today I'm just giving you kind of a quick glimpse at my first 2 outings hunting. Hunting season just started. Today is the 16th of September. Archery season just started in the upstate South Carolina. Yesterday was Sunday, opening day. I went to church in the morning, hunted that night, last night, and then I hunted this morning. Both times wearing a HECS suit. So I just want to show you the 2 things that happened on this that make me think that maybe there's something to this. I'm not going to draw any conclusions yet, but I just thought I'd share this with you. I'll do a full review later in the year as I put more time into this suit. But just very interesting, the 2 occurrences that I've had with that suit today. So stay tuned. All right, guys, full disclaimer, I am an affiliate for HECS. I just became an affiliate. I found out about this thing like a year ago, looked into it. I thought, hey, man, does it work? Does it not work? Is it just a gimmick? I don't know, but I want to try it out. I like to try things out. And so I looked them up because I was planning on buying a suit. Because of my YouTube channel, I was able to sign up as an affiliate, and I was able to purchase a HECS suit. I did get a slight discount because I'm an affiliate now. So just kind of full disclaimer. But I'm going to tell you the truth about this suit like I always do with all my reviews. You know, a lot of people think, I don't know, maybe it's just a gimmick, just a way to get your money. Some people say, yeah, it works. Guys like Joe Rogan and Tom Miranda swear by it. I don't know. So I'm going to, like I said, do a full review when I get through this, but just wanted to put that out there for you. But yeah, basically I hunted last night and this morning, and I'm going to show you some video footage and kind of tell you what I did to try to test this out a little bit. Had plenty of deer around me, had some turkeys come in. Interesting what I did with the turkeys. I'll show you these 2 clips. The turkeys was from last night. The deer incident was this morning, which is just kind of odd. I'm not saying this because of the HECS suit per se with the deer. Just interesting, so I'm going to see how this thing goes out. It was low light situation, so the footage is kind of grainy, but you kind of get the idea, and I'll explain as we go through the footage. So watch this, guys. All right, so 15 minutes after I'm in the stand, here come these 2 gobblers. I see them 15 yards off to my right, okay? They work their way down to the feeder, and keep in mind that, yes, I'm in a tree. The tree I'm in, I'm only like 10 foot high, okay? But I'm up a hill as well in this tree. 16 yards is how far they are from me. And I'm sitting here going, well, geez, let me try this suit out. Turkeys have 270 degrees of view in their eyes. And just a slight turn of the head lets them see 360 degrees, right? So I said, well, let me start moving a little bit, okay? So what you're going to see is I extend my arm out in front of the iPhone mounted on top of my crossbow here. And I basically start moving my arm around. And if you notice, the more I do it, the bigger my circles get and the bigger my movements. And again, I'm only 16 yards from these turkeys. So that turkey right there has got to be looking at me right now. He's got to see me. And, what's that moving up there? And I'm moving. And, hey, let's go back to feeding. Okay? And I did this for probably a good 2 minutes. And they just could have cared less that I was there. And it could be coincidence. Maybe they were just occupied with feeding, but normally turkeys aren't like that. Normally turkeys see me, that one's probably seen me move again and right back down to feeding. But normally turkeys, once they see that movement and detect something, that's usually, you get to boop, and they're turning around and heading the other direction. But, I probably watched these guys for 2 minutes before I even started doing this and moving my hand. They're maybe 2 or 3 minutes actually. And so they got to be seeing me moving. And you see I'm moving my arm around there. And, they don't seem to notice. Again, 16 yards. And, they just don't seem to notice anything. So I just thought that was pretty interesting. I didn't expect that to occur when I started movement. I really expected for these turkeys to, just give a pop and just take off. But they just kept right on feeding until I got tired of holding my arm out there and moving it around. So anyway, that was kind of, that was very interesting to me that this is what played out. I mean, that turkey looked at me right then, and there they go, right back to feeding again, like no big deal. Okay, a little bit later, same evening last night, I'm sitting there and here comes the first doe coming out. And then you're going to see another doe come out. And after her, you'll see the buck come in. Or actually, here comes the buck, and then you'll see another doe that's got a busted leg come running through. And they hung out for probably 15 minutes or so. He pretty much ran the does off. And again, this is about where that buck is, 20 yards. It's 20 yards from where I'm at. That doe is at 16 yards. And but this isn't conclusive of anything with suit. I am camoed up. The wind is in my favor, and I've had deer down here before. This is one of the spots I like to hunt, and my food plot's starting to grow now. We finally got some rain. Here's the doe with the busted leg, and he's pushing her out of there. And it was super, super windy, so that buck was on edge most of the time. But once he pushed the does out of there, he probably fed for another 15 minutes there. And but the wind was blowing really, really strong. And so again, nothing conclusive here. This is kind of normal, but that happened that night also. But what's conclusive is what happened today when I went out this morning. So let me get to that footage. Okay, so this buck comes in, and I start to adjust get the camera turned on, and making those adjustments. And what I didn't know is very windy and loud. You can't really tell from the video, but there was a buck coming in right behind me, and you'll see him pop out. Now, there's a GoPro 360 that's catching this, so it's made for close-up, not farther away. But you'll see this deer walk right underneath. I just heard him at the last second, and so I'm focused on that deer down there, thinking there's more bucks coming in. And look at that deer. He looks at me. But I turn my head, and I'm guessing he caught me turn my head, and he takes off running. So at this point, I think he's gone. So now I'm going to focus. So I'm going to focus on the deer down below me, because my camera pictures have been showing me multiple bucks coming in here, bucks fighting. And there's a particular 8-point that I want to get. So I'm thinking the one that came in beside me, he's gone. He wasn't my target buck. Didn't seem to be any other deer with him. Not too concerned about it. So I'm just focusing on down below me, and basically doing that, okay? But what I didn't know is that buck that I thought took off only went about 15 yards behind me. And I don't know this, I'm just assuming he's gone. Like I said, it's pretty windy, I can't hear real well. And so I'm just, focusing down below. And then finally that buck starts moving, and right now he's right at about maybe 22 yards. I heard him move, I turned back, and he's right behind the trees there, in the middle portion of the screen up, and you see him step out. Right there, he's 20 yards from me, and he's broadside. And I thought, and you can't really tell from the video, his tail's not up. Okay, he's gonna look at me a minute, or he's looking right at me, okay? And then he just goes walking on. Tail stayed down the whole time, which I thought that's kind of interesting. But, so I just kind of watched him for a little bit, and he looks like he wanted to work down the hillside there and head into the food. And so I won't bore you with all the video footage waiting for this, but basically he's over that way to the right, and he kind of would go down and he'd come back up, and every now and then he'd look my way, but as much as he'd look at me, he'd looked in the opposite direction. Never popped the tail, anything. So it's just kind of interesting. If this happened in front of me instead of behind me, I would have easily had a shot after the fact that he was spooked the first time when he saw me. I guess he caught me turning my head. He was right below me. I didn't even know he was there. So anyway, but I just thought it was interesting. So let me take you back down front to see what you see down there real quick. And this deer hasn't gone anywhere yet, so just keep that in mind. Okay, so this buck continued to feed for a little while. This is the first buck that came in from the left. When he got done, he went back to the left and basically got out of there. And then a couple minutes later, these two fawns come in from the bottom right, and they started feeding for a little while. And after a couple minutes, then the does started coming in, and they also were in the bottom and started coming around. And it turned out to be total. I'm not giving the whole footage because I filmed for a long time here and just get really boring, but there was like 5 total does that came in, and the 2 fawns are still kind of hovering down there, and they're kind of mingling about, and some of the does are asserting dominance over the other ones and pushing them away from the feeders, and that kind of activity's going on. Look at that one doe's looking at me right now, and you just saw her looking at me. She circles around there, and she's like, hey, let me see if I can get some food at this angle, and doesn't really care or seem to see anything. Again, it may not be anything with the suit. I am camouflaged, the wind's in my favor. But after these does hung out for a while, that buck, which you couldn't see this a minute ago, but he actually came down, pushed the doe up to the right a little bit, and then he came back down and started feeding. And he got rid of most of the does, but then that one doe here, was kind of dominating him a little bit. And there he is. He's down there feeding. This is the buck that basically walked right behind me, or right under me just about, saw me turn my head, ran back, and I just think it's kind of interesting. So I'm not saying it's absolutely 100% the suit that helped in this situation. It could be, but honestly, the wind was in my face, and when he was behind me and to my right, the wind was going from me to him. Okay. Now I did have the scent reduction spray, and but still he still came down there, and just feeding away. So yeah. So anyway, just want to show this to you. I'll put a link down below for where you can pick up the suit if you're interested. Again, not conclusive, but just some interesting observations on my first 2 hunts wearing this suit. Thought it was pretty cool. So we'll see as the year goes by how effective it really is.